Alex Answer here. It is 4:34 in the morning. Please bear with me as you watch this grainy video in the dark of night, early in the morning. It's hard to sleep, a lot on my mind, a lot going on in the world. There's a lot some of us can feel the changes in the wind, the greater reality that's taking place beyond the personalities, beyond the politicians. Behind them, behind the fronts that we see, there is something else. And we live in a world where we cannot convince other people of the truths that we have come across. And that has been my experience. It is a very unpopular position to take. They were already really, in a way, in a new world order, where China, Russia, the United States, and other countries conspire together to continue to drive the herd in these different directions. And these conflicts, these staged conflicts, and we've seen so much of it. Of course, we saw the 1960s, the United States and Russia with their Cold War, and we're seeing modern versions of this, and this is not over. The denial regarding this is unnecessary. You know, I had an experience, and I'm going to be brief, because now really isn't the time to be talking about it. But someone wanted my opinion on the Donald Trump presidency, the possibility of, and or Donald Trump himself. And I gave my opinion. And I feel a lot of things. How long have we seen politics divide people? And how does it feel when it happens in your own life? When you feel that divide and you wish it wasn't there? We are living through an incredible spiritual war. I will also say that when you look at the way these people are living in the Middle East today, how is it anything but a hell that they are experiencing? I think humans forget that, the kind of reality that we're living in, that these things are taking place, and that the world's gone along or has allowed these things to go on. There's purpose and meaning behind standing against this machine, whatever's driving it. I certainly don't know everything. I certainly don't claim to have my own religion. But there are spiritual truths that I will continue to bring to this YouTube channel, and I will continue to bring to the interviews. I warn many about the transgression of the human soul. And I answer a calling from within. This is a time of great deceit, and I'm almost overwhelmed. And at times I am, and I don't know what to do. Because I've never seen anything like this. In this lifetime, I've never faced an evil of deception like this. Like what is taking what formerly was known as the Liberty Movement in its hands. People emotional about their candidate of choice. How did this happen? And if you don't drink the Trump Kool-Aid, they think you're for Hillary and the mainstream media talking points. It's just, it isn't even worth yelling or getting upset about, but trying to ponder as we pray and try to understand and make sense out of this. As people laugh at our concerns. About another possibility. Another possibility other than Clinton becoming the president. The possibility of Trump becoming the president and him being very different, having policies very different than that which he proposes. At the same time, he telegraphs the possibility of being aggressive with other nations, shooting down Russian jets, tariffs on China, and other things, going after the barbarians in the Middle Eastern world, invoking that primal fear in an already terrified American population that's been terrified by design to box into a police state. And here the man is screaming about law and order. Law and order. We're going to have law and order. They're going to respect us. We're going to become more powerful than ever. And it's manic. The man, in my opinion, knows what he's doing when he's inciting, when he's provoking a response. That's his job. I want you to think about this and take a deep breath. The man has been in a position of power for a very long time. This is not a new thing. How do people say that this person is outside the establishment? It defies common sense and logic. And yet for me to say that, for me to share my truth, someone else can take that as a personal insult when that is not my intention. But unfortunately, this has almost been forced upon us. How can someone live with themselves if they were to parrot a lie? I can't do that, which is why I can't parrot what I believe to be a lie. But I see others believing what I believe to be a lie. And there's a variety of people, and I want to know the answer. Do some of them know that this is a deception? Or have they been misled? It's become above and beyond for people to envision a situation where Trump is playing a role in order to provoke a reaction from the public. And yet, Americans that are concerned about immigration and concerned about their safety fail to see how this guy is really setting something up that is very unsafe and very destructive. You could even say apocalyptic. Noting a speech in Cleveland, Ohio at the RNC, there is something to this. The roar from the Archon on stage. We're going to do this. We're going to move you, society, to the next phase of level. You're going to go along with this. This is how it is going to be. And then the crowd cheers. This is how it is going to be. And then the crowd cheers. As the violence continues to erupt and erupt and erupt in the streets of America. Why is it difficult, my brothers and sisters, for those of you that are voting for Trump, to see the role that Trump is playing in this? Why do people keep saying that there's nothing to this Trump-Clinton connection? Oh, he was just supporting her husband back in the day. That's what rich people do. He was a Democrat then. He's a Republican now. This is completely normal. No. Let's not talk about the Clinton Foundation. Let's not talk about Putin, the Clinton Foundation. What has happened to our society where we cannot have an open dialogue, where voices like mine are not heard on larger channels because of the level of controversy involved, because of what people would think about the person that had me on. What kind of things would pop up in the comment section? How many thumb downs on the video might there be? And yet, you see, or rather what I don't see anywhere, are Trump bumper stickers. Trump bumper stickers. At least the Obama Kool-Aid drinkers admitted it in public. It was the fake peace candidate. So because they didn't see the deception and they believed he was a genuine peace candidate, peace, my brother Obama, they weren't afraid to represent the Kool-Aid that they were drinking at the time. Don't forget, I'm from Portland. I've been around the block. I've been there in 2008, 2009, after already talking about this stuff on the air for multiple years and developing a small following, seeing my fellow Portlanders scream in the streets like they were mad on something in the water. Oh, Obama! Just this artificial, possessed humans worshiping the idol on the stage, false idol of our day. It was sickening to me. As I had my beer at Ankeny's in Old Town Portland, Oregon, and just watch the herds, the hordes of humans, not even realizing how simulated that so-called victory was. Here we are 8 years later. And they typically go Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican. And yet, the majority of people are mirroring that Hillary is the establishment's pick. And what I've seen is the media make Hillary the issue. I've even seen the mainstream media talk about the mainstream media. Donald Trump on Sean Hannity on Fox News slamming the mainstream media. I mean, this is completely nonsensical. This is absurd. This is what kind of a world is this? Where the most insane things are suggested, but the power of suggestion is so strong that the masses believe the establishment hates Trump. Instead of, they own it all. They own it all. And they've owned them all for a long time. Is that so radical for Alex Ansary to say? Or to say that Putin is not what he seems to be? Is that really so far out there? I mean, you have people that are into UFOs and aliens and reptilians and other outside the box and hyper fringe topics, and they are getting behind the Donald. This is no bueno. This is no good. This is no good. And you have a lot of people out there that are defending Donald Trump that have nothing to do with Donald Trump. And Donald Trump has nothing to do with them at all. He might as well be a robot. But to the best of our knowledge, he actually is a card-carrying human being. But do any of these people actually know Donald Trump? No. Then why? Why? Why are so many people defending, supporting promoting a person that they, in fact, don't know. What is the purpose of life? Why are we here? We may have different answers to those questions, but certainly, can you really tell me with a straight face, in full honesty, that you're here on the earth to support Donald Trump? I don't know that I believe in one singular Antichrist because I don't follow a dogmatic religious set of belief systems or dogmatic view of the book of Revelations, for example. But it's like there are many antichrists or deceiving spirits that come and wreak havoc on humanity that leads to a great destruction. And they are usually popular when they begin their rise. And I see that in Donald Trump. And I see a person that others fail to see, the people that are supporting him. They fail to see a man that's capable of saying and doing things to cause a intended reaction by design that he is knowingly participating in. All I see for the years ahead is massive civil unrest until the next level of World War III. And we're talking about a situation that people don't want to hear from me. This particular endgame, where China and Russia occupies U.S. soil. Well, there's a series of things that happen in between then and now. And when I look at Donald Trump and I see what he's doing, how he is very capable of bringing America's image down even further. If we see him do what some could say is the unthinkable. Mass roundups, millions dead, nukes dropped on innocent countries, and perhaps worse, and things not yet mentioned. I don't want to see these things take place, but I'm not a conscious human being, in my opinion, if I don't even discuss that this has been the main driving subject in my mind for multiple months, in addition to spiritually what really happened to Alex Jones, a person that's been speaking to millions of people for many years. Something within his soul is black, is dark, is contaminated, is corrupted. And there are like these shoals of contaminated souls that are swimming together and singing a similar tune. And I see people that I believe are capable of good and knowing better, and in some cases should know better. Is mind control being used? And again, you have to look at it on both ways. To support Donald Trump and then also to go out and kill or hurt Donald Trump supporters. The mind control that's out there for people to hurt Donald Trump supporters. The mainstream media is pouring gasoline on the fire. Do you see how they're working both sides? Because if you can't see how they're working both sides and beyond, then maybe you're busy in the manufactured civil unrest, only seeing your own position and only seeing the Democrats or Hillary or the Republicans or Trump without just seeing the larger picture. What is holding people back from seeing, for example, a potential connection between, and very likely, Hillary, Putin, and Donald? This is not an insane concept. This is more than likely the reality. And that they are all working at behest of forces that we don't know or even understand. And we know enough to know what we don't know, but that this is very organized. And they're on a timeline. And they use puppets to distract and absorb the anger and love from the people. But the people don't know what controls this world order. Because most people don't want to know. They don't want to look through the depths of this deception. Okay, and there are many layers to it. Okay. And going up here and seeing this political and go in the circus, the dog chasing his tail, no, that is not a higher level of awareness. Dangers coming to the earth. This is truth, and it's already arrived. But at the moment, it's not necessarily you and I that's being beheaded or being murdered in front of their children or being tortured until they confess something that they didn't do. Hell is already alive and well, raging like a fire, an eternal fire, placed here on earth. We lived through different civilizations and eons. Something is still similar. And we see the cycles, periods of awakening, periods of descent into darkness, periods where there seems to be a little bit of both. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of women in this culture that are living their own little utopia, their own little princess paradise, because they live here and they don't live there. And few in our society truly shed a tear for those beyond the walls of this empire, metaphorically speaking. But there are walls that separate this world from the rest. There are many ways in which people are sheltered from the hell that is brought into the lives of billions around the world every single day at the hands of this world government. Not just the United States and not just Israel. And yet there is something preventing many of the people around the world from seeing the true global government that has already arrived. As they carve up the Middle East, as they sexually prey on the kidnapped children of the Middle East, as they bomb the Middle East and ancient sites. And perhaps one could ask or ponder the demonic aspects of all this, of bombing Babylon during certain periods in time, the Shock-and-Awe campaign. There's something else going on behind the scenes in the unseen realms that most humans are not able to look at. But this is a massive harvesting of souls. This period we're in. We're in it now. I'm living through it now. The future is here. Now, there will be other aspects of the future. It's like you think about the Terminator. You think about the future and their own ass on the line. When drones, right now, the second, are murdering innocent men, women, and children. And yet the nation has found a way to entertain itself away from empathy and feeling in the heart. It's like upstairs, we're already in lockdown mode. I'm working here in Southwest Colorado. to finance a small structure on my land, and so I'm back in the regular workforce, at least for the time being. And even though I'm not in a big city, it's like there are so many aspects of this matrix programming that are right here to remind me of where society still is at. A society that has found itself at times obsessed with law of attraction. Don't you talk about that. You'll just create more of it. There's no point in trying to shine the light on this. If the sheeple don't want to be awakened, just take advantage of them, or they don't even deserve the truth. I've heard it all, folks. I've heard like every conceivable insane line that you can imagine to tell me that there is no point in me doing anything at any time. And all I see there are the Agent Smiths of the world. The matrix that I live in. This artificial construct. I'd like to go beyond, but I'm here for a reason. And as I pondered earlier, I'd like to go back to the stars where I believe I'm truly from, because this truly is starting to feel like an alien planet. Although it hasn't just started to feel like an alien planet, it comes and it goes. The intensity of that feeling, like the waning and waxing of a full moon. Or during a geomagnetic storm with the solar flares and the solar plasma and the electromagnetic energy just zzz on Earth. As the veils between our world and that beyond, including that which feeds on our emotions, gets thinner and thinner. Until you have straight up overlay. And one does not know where one begins and what ends. With most people not even aware that there even is an overlay. And how at times their thoughts are not their own. What you're seeing with the demonization of Middle Eastern people may very well lead to an even greater genocide than that which has already been done. Earth truly is a place of spiritual battle and warfare on every conceivable direction. And by speaking out and by speaking my truth is not an expression of fear. We must remain brave in this fire that surrounds us. We must walk over the fire. We must walk through the fire. Cloaked with a protection from above and from within. When we walk the path that we are to walk. So everything that you're seeing right now is a massive deception to drive the herd to some sort of a bloodbath paradigm where there are multiple scenarios and bloodbath situations. As troubling as it is, I must talk about it. And we are still going through solar maximum, believe it or not. And so I see its influence in this, and also the lack of awareness on the part of the human species to grasp this. We were gifted with the gift of communication, intellect, intuition, and more. So it's really my job to bring you these perspectives. Whether it be on the presidency, geopolitics, and some of these energy changes that we're going through, a lot of the things that I share are really unique and to some people too fringe to even understand or even look at. So I'm in an awkward situation because it seems that my lifetime, my information comes loaded with a lot of really specific and unique things that I'm trying to express on different levels, but all very, very important. as my life was also, and my channel has featured a lot of different content and my travels as well. It's all been a part of a greater tapestry. But it takes massive spiritual strength to not only speak out against some of these deceptions that are taking place, but speak out against the spell that is over many human beings today. And it is a spell, because these are not popular positions to hold. But I know that my words will be remembered. I know that I'm placed in certain situations to share certain truths with certain people. Doesn't mean that I know it all. Certain people are also placed in my path in order to share a certain truth with me. But there's a reason why you're hearing this message. And there's a reason why I've shared what I see coming with certain people. I'd like to be wrong about some of the things that I've predicted. I don't want to see mass roundups in the U.S. I don't want to see America occupied by China and Russia. I don't want to see millions more dead in the Middle East. I don't want to see cities on fire. Do I feel in my heart that we are inevitably moving specifically, though, in that very direction? And that I can't shake it no matter how hard I try? And have you considered what it's like coexisting in this world where today, for example, most of the people involved in conspiracy research are parroting mainstream media talking points? The spirit of deception working through the politicians on stage. What is it that happens to human beings when they fail to see the history repeat itself? When they begin to believe the absurd that the system has fixed itself on its own? I'm going to wrap up these thoughts. 5:07 in the morning, August 12th, 2016.